We had moved to Marblehead. I think it was our first winter down there, which would put it at 1958. And we're at a skating party, and of course the kids are playing, and then I ended up on Dad's shoulders while he was skating around. And, you know, he grew up on the water, so he was good athlete. However, he hit a rut, fell, and being on his shoulders, I got the end of the bullwhip treatment, so I smashed my face. And I just remember screaming in the blood. And it was, you know, a little bit of blood goes a long way. And when you're a kid, you know, 3 years old, it's scary. So I had this doctor telling me, you know, what he's going to do. So it's a tuning fork like apparatus that has to go up my nose. That went up my nose, and it just, the crunch inside my head, I can almost hear it today. That was the first major injury, obviously a concussion. And from there, we moved on to Holden at the age of 5. So that was 1960, I moved to Holden. The next major accident was the summer between the 3rd and 4th grade. We're outside playing, and it's time to race bikes. So I'm racing Ben Woodbury, my next door neighbor, and we're on a street called Dorothy Ave, and there's a sewer culvert down there. And I am pedaling like crazy. I hit the sand on the right-hand side of the road and lost control, went over the handlebars and came down face first on a sewer culvert. And I remember Ben Woodbury picking me up. From what I understand, I was told, I replied, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he let go of me. And I do remember this part where I was passing out again. I just lost my balance and I was gone again. And I went over backwards with my eyes wide open and just seeing clouds and blue sky. And I hit again. And that impact was just obviously the double whammy. So Ben took me home. And my mother was a nurse's aide. She took one look at me, and one pupil was larger than the other. Threw me in the car, off to Holden District Hospital, and major concussion. And I was put in a crib next to the nurse's station, and they woke me up every 20 minutes to a half an hour for 3 days. Well, what's your mother's name? What's your father's name? Oh, your sister's name. I remember my sister's name, Arlene, being asked a lot for whatever reason. And when I came to, everything was in black and white and gray. I couldn't see colors for a few days. So that kept me in the hospital for quite a while. And then I got out, and the rest of my summer was basically R&R. I could go in the water, however, I couldn't dive. No running, and I had headaches that went on for about a year. And when I started school, a couple of issues here, I was having trouble focusing with my vision, so I had to get my eyes checked, of course, and I had to wear glasses for reading that year in school. And if I went out to recess, I had to wear a hockey helmet. I got through that one okay, and then that was it for a couple of years. The latest big one was in, I call it my day of infamy, was July 22nd, 2004. I believe it was a Thursday. And I went into work. It was my day off, but I had a lot to do. I wanted to get ahead of the game because we were leaving to go to Wolfboro, New Hampshire for a lakeside wedding of my brother. So I was up in my office pulling my inventory, and then I came down. I had my clipboard under my arm, came down the stairs and talked to one of the managers in the hall, and then I just started jogging to the front door and plowed into the door. The door had been open the rest of the morning previous to this. A thunderstorm had been rolling in, and while I was upstairs, the receptionist shut the door. So I got knocked out, and they scraped me off the floor and put me in a chair.
Oh man, are you all right?
The impact was powerful enough to have knocked the keyboard and a picture off the adjacent wall. I shattered the glass. I was bleeding, had a large welt on my head, and that ended my day at work. They said, why don't you go home and relax? No, we'll take you to the hospital, none of that. So I went home. For about the next week, I'm driving around, going to work, and leaving early. I'd go to lunch, eat something, throw it up. I couldn't keep anything down. And finally off to the doctor. And the guy looked at me and he goes, when did this happen? And I told him, and he said, you've got to be kidding me. You have one nasty concussion and you're driving? And I told him, yeah. He said, no. You just get yourself home and you kick back and I'll see you in a week. So I went back to him in a week and it was off to a neurologist in Worcester. And then I was off to Boston to Mass Eye and Ear for extensive testing. End result was I had blown out both inner ears, which control all of your balance. And that explained to me a lot. The vertigo, which was a constant, and it was severe at the time. To this day, I have memory issues and very forgetful. I can't drive. I can't fly. As you know, I was a couple hours away from Solo for my pilot's license and studying for my FAA exam at the time. And if you can't drive a car, you can't fly an airplane. So I just take the best of the hand that I've been dealt and enjoy life.